Hi guys, today I just felt the need to do a unhaul/book haul video. So it's been a little while since I did one of these. I started spacing them out a bit more, and that's worked well for me so far. So basically that's going to allow me to do bigger hauls, even though I'm not technically buying books as frequently as I was before. So I'm not doing like big hauls every month. I'm doing them like every 3 months or so. Yeah, so I wanted to start with the books that I unhauled. I just have a short list, so if you see me looking down at my phone, that's why I have a list here, because I already unhauled these months ago, and I just kept a list of the ones that I unhauled. For the books I unhauled The City We Became, The Kingdom of Copper, Evicted, The Lost Dogs, King of Scars, Uprooted, and Spinning Silver. As you may have seen in my one chapter try before I unhaul type video, I was going to try that one. I decided I really just don't care. Naomi Novik is kind of on my list of authors that I'm just kind of done trying with. It's not that I hated her books, it's just they're always like 3-star reads or lower, and they're just okay, and I just don't have time for just okay. I unhauled a couple nonfiction books, a book on forest bathing, and Nature's Best Hope, which is about native plants and that type of thing. I have quite a few books of that nature, and I've read a couple at this point, and I really just felt like I didn't need to hang on to this, and somebody else would enjoy this more than I would. I unhauled Ninth House, because honestly, the school setting isn't for me, and I know this. I unhauled Leviathan Wakes, because I started watching the show, and I just didn't like it, so I figured I wouldn't like the book. It's a pretty big sci-fi series, so I wasn't going to waste my time if I knew I wasn't going to like it. I unhauled The Raven Tower. This is one that's been on my TBR for years, and I just have to part with it at this point. I unhauled Upstream, which is a novella by Mary Oliver, just because I wasn't going to get to it, even though I wanted to read it. I just knew I wasn't going to get to it. And then lastly, I unhauled The King of Elfhame. I think it's like something along the lines of how he learned to hate stories. I actually skim read this before I unhauled it and was like, meh, I don't feel like I need to read this at length. And then I unhauled a couple comics, not too many. I do tend to trade in to the used bookstore my comic issues that I do read, even if I do like them, because we don't hang on to them anymore. We used to keep them in short boxes, and we don't do that anymore. So as we read the issues, they tend to just go anyways. And then if we want to keep them for the collection, we get the trades. So the comics I unhauled were Sun Bakery. This was a short story collection. I read this, and I just don't feel like I'm ever going to reread it, so I traded it in. I traded in low, so I traded in the trade paperbacks that I had and any issues that I had, because it's over, and of all the Rick Remender books, I just felt like it didn't hit the same way as the other ones do for me, so I just didn't want to keep it. I unhauled Ronin Island. This was a series in issues we were reading that's done, and I don't care. My husband read it. I just don't care. I unhauled Nebula and Sparrowhawk, which was another trade paperback that I have read, and I liked it enough, but I just wasn't going to reread it. Those are the ones I unhauled. Like I said, I don't really want to go into too much detail. A lot of these were either I already read the first book in the series and just felt meh about it. I knew I either was just not going to prioritize it because it wasn't going to be a great read for me at this point, or I straight up decided this is no longer something I'm interested in reading, so I unhauled it. So now getting into the book haul portion of the video, I just wanted to start with the ones that I bought used. I don't have many. I bought Parable of the Sour by Octavia Butler. Did you tell I filmed these on the same day? I swear. Oh my god. I ended up spending about $7 to buy this one, because I didn't have enough store credit to cover the whole price of it. But I'm really excited to read this. And then the other one that I bought used, and used the majority of my store credit for, was Season of Storms, and this completed my collection for the Witcher series. And, you know, I bought this, and then they announced that there's new covers coming out that are way better, but I'm not going to invest because I can't. afford to. It's ridiculous. So as much as I would like them, I'm not going to. And then going into the books that I bought with gift cards. Just like my last book haul, you'll see the prices on the screen this time, but I'm not actually going to verbally say them because it was way too much work. I have notes where I wrote it all down, so I know the numbers, but I just can't be bothered to read them off of my notes. So the ones I bought with gift cards during this period were Blue Exorcist #1. I have a lot of manga. I bought Dr. Stone #1. So as you can see, I used my gift cards a lot of the time to buy manga that I am hoping to try out. And I focus specifically on ones that I can't get at my library. So I also got To Your Eternity. This is a newer release. An orb was cast onto the earth. After metamorphosing into a wolf, it joins a boy on his bleak journey to find his tribe. It learns and evolves, transcending death, even when those around it cannot. So, and then there's a blurb at the bottom that says, To Your Eternity explores what it means to truly be alive and to live. Absolutely compelling. The seller that I bought this when I checked out at Barnes & Noble told me they've already started reading it and that it's excellent. So I'm excited to have that one. I got Fire Punch. This is also a newer release. Orphan siblings Agni and Luna, like the Ice Witch who cursed their world, are two of the blessed, quote-unquote, humans who hold special abilities. However, not all who are blessed are friendly, and after another of their kind attacks Agni and decimates the orphan's village, Agni fights to survive, vowing revenge. This one kind of reminds me of Fire Force, but I am curious to see where this goes. And I got one that I actually want to keep for my collection. I haven't read the series, but as you may know, I am a pretty big fan of this author's other series, Die Dark, and that is Dorohedoro. I got the first one, but I am hoping to use gift cards to get the rest, because I have seen the anime and I really liked it, but I want to read the manga. Last but not least, I bought, so this is Ever After. I just bought this on a whim. I thought it looked cute. I read the synopsis and I was like, this sounds fun. It is YA, but it's short. It seems like it'll be fun. Yeah, I don't know a ton about this other than what I read in the synopsis. It says it's a heartfelt and whimsical waltz toward true love, perfect for fans of TJ Klune and Diana Jones, who wrote House Moving Castle. So I was like, oh, I'm sold. The author weaves a warm and hilarious rom-com about prophecies and magic spells and what happens after you hack off the head of the villain with a rusty magical sword. So it says, trust me, this is going to be your new favorite comfort read. So yeah, I read that and I was like, okay, I want to give this one a try, and I didn't have to actually invest any of my own money in it, so this was a good pick. But I did also purchase with gift cards Noragami's volume 6 through 14, except for 11, because 11 was like weirdly hard to find. I have it on the way at this point, and that's going to make me completely up to date on the series so far, and then the future ones I have on pre-order, so we're good. I did purchase them all using gift cards, so that was nice. I was very happy when I did that. So yeah, I think that's like 8 total that I purchased with gift cards. So anyways, those are all the ones that I bought with gift cards this time around. Like I said, a lot of manga, and that's probably going to be the trend for a while. And then getting into all the books that I purchased new during this period of time, there's quite a few. So I ended up spending quite a bit of money out of pocket during this time on mainly trade paperbacks, if I'm being honest with you, comic books, and some manga. Lore Olympus, this is volume 2. I had this on pre-order. Still trying to get to volume 1 by the end of July, but fingers crossed that that actually happens. And then I bought Magic. This is a Magic the Gathering comic. I bought volume 1 in hardcover. I did want to read this when it came out in issues. I just never got to it. And the artwork is just stellar, as is probably the story, to be real with you. So, you know, if you're into Magic, if you're into D&D, any of that, this could be up your alley. And then I picked up The Dreaming. This is a new Sandman universe. One of them. There's many at this point. These are multi-authored new stories in the Sandman universe, and not only is the story probably insane and great, the art is just stellar. I love that they printed these on like the OG matte pages. I really feel like the color shines because of it. And if you aren't aware and you do like Sandman, we are getting a Sandman adaptation August 5th on Netflix. I will be doing a video where I'm reacting to it. So if you're interested, look forward to that. Yeah, so I'm excited to have this one. I do want to collect all of these trades. It's just, there's so many that I just have to buy them slowly because they ain't cheap. And then I also bought Thor. This is the newer Thor. I love the art in this one. This one is by Jason Aaron. This is like the newer arc that people recommend you read, but I stupidly bought volume 5 without owning any of the other ones because I was dumb and I didn't look. So I have to buy the first one, but I am happy to have this. And then, similar to the Magic comic, I got a couple of the newer Mighty 9 origin comics, and these are really short origin stories for characters in the Mighty 9. And if it's Critical Role in this house, we collect it. So I got Jester's story, and then I also got Caleb's. And there's a new one, I think, that either just came out or is coming out toward the end of July. I want to say, I don't remember what it's called. I'll put it on the screen. But yeah, there's also another Vox Machina Origin coming out in trade paperback at the end of this month. So happy to have those. And then I bought Kanto 1 through 3. These are all trade paperbacks. This one is kind of special for us. So not only is this this author's first really major success in terms of story, we actually got to meet him at one of our Comic-Cons, I think 2 or 3 years ago at this point. And we were delighted to find that he actually has the same last name as my husband. So we are happy to support this guy. We've met him in person. He's a great author. He's a great artist. He really does a great job with these comics, and I'm excited to read these. We didn't get to them when they came out in issues. I think at the time our shop wasn't actually pulling them. But now that they're in trades, we're happy to have them. So I got, this is number 1. I got number 2 as well. And then I got number 3, which was the most recent one. This says, enslaved for generations, Kanto's people once had hearts. Now they have clocks. They are forbidden to love, yet Kanto loves a little tin girl. When slavers damage her clock beyond repair, Kanto embarks on an incredible journey through his strange and fantastic world to bring back her heart. As he faces fearsome creatures and finds unlikely allies, can he conquer the mysterious figure who has taken their hearts to save the one he loves? So, yeah, this is really cute, and the art is fantastic. Story's fantastic. I'm excited to have these. And then on a whim, I also bought Winds of Numasira. This one I just saw, and I flipped through it at the comic book store, and I thought it looked excellent. The art is really beautiful, and just kind of my vibe. This says, in the land of Ethera, you either rule or be ruled. The Empire of Numasira holds sovereignty over the continent, but following the untimely death of the ambitious emperor, his adolescent daughter Layla inherits the throne. With the young girl in power, the one true kingdom finds itself vulnerable as other nations seek to overcome its supremacy. Within the realm of Numasira, 4 individuals fight to make their own fate, or fall prey to someone else's. This is a fantasy comic. I haven't heard anything about this, to be honest with you, but the art looks great. Just kind of my vibe, and I'm excited to see what this one is all about. It sounds like a pretty typical fantasy story, so yeah, excited to have this one. I pre-ordered Solo Leveling number 4 for my comic shop, so they're pulling these for now for me, and I haven't gotten to this one yet, but this one feels like potentially it's printed a little differently, which is kind of bizarre. But yeah, I've been enjoying Solo Leveling. I'm excited to have this as part of my collection. And yeah, that's nothing new. That I've been getting those for a while. I also got Zom 100 number 6. These, I think I put a pause on buying them for now because I actually haven't read too many of them, and I want to read and get up to date before I continue to purchase these. So I got Kagan the Damned. I bought this when I was in New Hampshire at an indie bookshop in one of the towns we went to. Just something I like to do when I travel is, that's just kind of my thing. I'll either go to thrift stores or I'll go to indie bookstores and buy a book there, and I usually try to get one of their bookmarks because I like to collect them. But the synopsis on this says, Kagan Vale is the trusted and feared captain of the Palace Guard, charged with protecting the royal children of the Silver Empire. But one night, Kagan is drugged, and the entire imperial family is killed, leaving the empire in ruins. Abandoned by the gods, haunted and broken, Kagan is abandoned by his gods and damned forever. He becomes a wanderer, trying to take down as many of his enemies as possible, while plotting to assassinate the usurper, the deadly Witch King. Meanwhile, all around him, magic, long banished from the world, returns in strange and terrifying ways. To exact his vengeance, Kagan must venture into strange lands, battle bizarre and terrifying creatures, and gather allies for a suicide mission into the heart of the Witch King's empire. Kings and gods will fear him, Kagan the Damned. The synopsis is definitely what got me. I saw somebody else read this on one of their recent hauls, or I saw them read the synopsis on their recent haul, and I was hooked. And when I saw this at the bookshop, I was like, I know I'm buying that one. So I'm excited to read this, hopefully rather soon. I also got Noragami number 24. This is the newest one. I think the next one comes out at the beginning of next year, so we're not going to get any more this year. And I still need to read this one, but I am excited to have it. And then just yesterday, on a whim, I bought Box of Light number 1. This, when I read the synopsis, I thought it sounded similar in some ways to Noragami, and pretty much if it's like Noragami, I'm going to like it. So this is a quiet, convenience store at the crossroads between life and death. Its faint glow in the darkness draws in transient souls, pulling them closer to the final purchase they'll ever make. Prepare for shadowy creatures, strange employees, and an air of dread in this delightfully creepy supernatural tale. So, yep. That is Box of Light. I'm excited to see what this one is like. Last but not least, I bought the first volume of Killing Stalking. If you're not familiar with this one, it is a psychological terror of a manhwa, where our main character stalks and is obsessed with this other guy and then ends up being kidnapped. This is not really a spoiler because it happens like in the first chapter or so. But he ends up being kidnapped and held hostage by the guy that he was stalking, and the guy tortures him, and it's horrific. But I read this when it was online, as like a web comic type thing that you had to read online. I'm excited to actually have the print of these. I think there's 2 volumes so far that are coming out this year, and I have both pre-ordered, this one and the second one. But yeah, this is intense. So those are all the books that I bought in the last 3 months, give or take. I hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, give it a thumbs up. If you wouldn't mind subscribing, if you want to see more from me, and I thank you for taking the time to watch this. I hope you guys have a good rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.